to introduce Eddie and Crystal. Eddie is the PMO manager of IT. He used to, Augusta State College? Augusta State College used to teach project management course. He's PMI certified to teach the course. He actually teaches it at Blackbaud a couple times a year. I took the first pilot class with him this past fall, and it was twice a week for 3 months, 4 months?
About 3.5 months.
So he's going to be offering that a lot more, and I'd like for all of you to start taking that, because you know what that counts for? 45 hours?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about it.
He'll talk a little bit about it, but it's a great value, and we have a great resource here with Eddie. So if you want to branch out from project management, well, we kind of do. Now, from a project management standpoint, we have a lot of growth opportunities here. We have a great resource here from an industry standpoint.
Damn, what am I going to say now? I said too much already. So, hi everybody. Let's start. Are you all an excitable group? Let's see if we can do a really loud cheer so we can piss the people next door. Oh, come on. Nobody wants to do that? Okay. All right. So, my name's Eddie Ryder. Let me just clarify a few things. Number one, I was born in India. I grew up in London, England, which is why I have this crazy accent. I lived in Canada for 10 years. And I've lived in America for 15 years. Lived in the South, actually. And I don't say y'all. My wife says y'all, I don't say y'all. This is Crystal Scabone. Scabone.
That's all I have. I'm from Georgia, just moved to Charleston.
She's lying, because you know what?
And I do say y'all.
She was proposed to less than a month ago. She's getting married. So, let me tell you a few things first. Project management, what's it all about? People, it can be one of the most, if I go to a party, for example, and I start talking to people, they go, you're a project manager, I go, oh. And they walk and they kind of mumble and walk away. But project management isn't just about software, right? Can you fix that? Project management, there's a lot of different things that we get up to. It originates out of construction, building. That's where it all started. Okay? A lot of the really cool stuff that came out of project management came out of the government. They did work breakdown structures, they did all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to give you a kind of more overall background about what you can do in project management, right? Because it's not all about Blackbaud. I work for Blackbaud, I love working for Blackbaud, I enjoy it. I think, just like Manesh, I like coming to work. I think I'm actually making a difference in the world every day. I love talking to other people about Blackbaud and telling them what a great company it is. Most of you are fairly young, so you haven't worked in many different industries. Most industries are a dog's dinner. Okay, dog's dinner. These are some of the companies I've worked for, and to give you a kind of nice and wide range. IBM, I taught for IBM in London. Warner Brothers, we did videos, all the Warner Brother video, which is now DVDs, of course, but it used to be Warner Brother video. Sony Records was an awesome place to work. All the artists would come in and we'd get signed records and CDs and stuff. It was really cool.
Who was your favorite artist that you met?
That's a tough question. Chaka Khan. I know that sounds crazy. She was one wild woman. She will rock you. She came into our office. She was wild. By the way, you get the jester right off the bat. You get the jester. Then DGA, Hospital Entertainment Systems. Crystal, I put this up when we were talking about the presentation. She goes, "What the heck is hospital entertainment?" Well, for those of you who are a little older than the youngsters here, it used to be that when you went into a hospital, you had to pay to watch TV. And a guy would walk around with a little sheet, and he'd charge you by the day. And they'd switch on and off the TVs, right? But we designed a system that automated.
I thought it was the gesture hat you went in.
Superwoman's talking to me. FPL Food is a slaughterhouse. Yesterday, while we were doing this presentation and going through it, we found out there was a shooting there. A guy walked out of the kill floor. We call it kill floor, where we slaughter the animals. Walked outside. His wife was there. He grabbed a gun out of his wife's car, shot her, and shot himself. So we deal. This is what project management's all about. Let me tell you a quick story, because Manesh has heard this story. One of the talks we do is in HR, and if you do my course, you'll hear this story as well. In HR one day, I was standing outside FPL Food, and I was talking to the HR manager, and she and I were just chatting away. This woman comes screaming up to us and starts ranting and raving about her husband's having an affair with one of our supervisors on the floor, and we had to do something about it. So Veronica, who's our HR manager, she's looking at me and I'm like, and she goes, honey, there's nothing we can do about this. This is something you need to take control of yourself. You're the one that's responsible for this. We can't do anything to someone within the company. So she disappears, right? 5 minutes later, my radio, I carry a radio on site, starts going crazy, right? There's a vehicle on fire. Now in Augusta, we have anhydroxide ammonium. So I have sirens and lights on my car, or used to, right? So we hit code 3, lights and sirens across Augusta, boom, off we go. We turn up there, there's a car on fire, the fire brigade are there, there's people out there, the police are there. This woman that just talked to us comes running up, that's them, that's them! And we're like, and she goes, she's the one that told me to do this. And we're like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, apparently she took it literally. She set fire to his car. And our counsel, general counsel, told us to settle, because we would never win the case. Right? So these are the things we deal with in project management. Right? Some of the stuff. Elizabeth Arden Cosmetics, one of the things there was they had this beautiful cream that they had. They produced it on site at the manufacturing plant. They sent it out to everyone. Women would put it on their skin and it would congeal. And they didn't know what was going on. They found out when it was too hot. It was getting overheated. So our entire computer room was filled up with these containers of cream just to keep them cool because we had air conditioning. McCain's Frozen Foods, Maple Leaf Food, that's another kill facility with pork. I can tell you lots of stories about kill facilities. Warner Electro Atlanta Records, Easy Go Golf Cars, Duracell batteries. Here's another story for you. Did you know that batteries explode? Yes. Did you know that? And do you know that when they produce batteries, they have to keep them for 7 days in a storage facility to allow the ones that are going to explode, explode. And then they pack the remaining ones for you to take away. These are the things you learn, right? How many things did you learn through the class that I was telling you? These random stories. This is what project management is all about. And Charterhouse Bank is a banking, a floor processing system, right? Boring job, terrible job, don't do banking. Anyway, my point here is project management has nothing to do with the widget. It's to do with what you do, how you do it, when you do it, that kind of thing. And a lot of it is subjective. So, you know, Manesh and the rest of the crew that took the last class would sit there going, but I don't get how this applies. How would we apply this? And I'd go, right? Because there's no way of applying everything. It's a standard set of rules with so many different widgets and so many different problems. It doesn't always work. But you have to base it on construction and how we do construction. So the majority of the stories that we talk about are how to build a swimming pool or how to build a nuclear power station, right? Because that way you can consciously look at it and understand how the project's put together. Software is a big piece. I'm on Yammer. If any of you watch the Yammer feeds, add me to it and have a look. I read an article just yesterday, and I posted it on Yammer, that currently in today's world, 5% of project managers are underuse. Meaning we are using about 5%, right? They expect by 2025 for it to be 80%. So it's a growing market because companies more and more are understanding the importance of having somebody correctly do a project of some form, right? Follow a principle, follow a methodology. I'm not asking you to do it exactly one way every time. What I'm saying to you is that there's lots of ways of doing it. The question is, are we doing it the right way, right? How many times, and I'll give you an example of this at Blackbaud. One of the things I looked at was how do we, as a company, look at timesheets for somebody wanting to take a vacation, right? So I did a search. I looked at all the documents through the SharePoint systems throughout the entire environment. How many ways do you think we can write an HR document to do a vacation, to write out a vacation sheet? Anybody? 6. That means 6 people did the same task, the same way, 6 times, and came out with 6 different answers. Why? Because we don't pay attention to what everybody around us is doing, right? So that's why when I came here, one of the things that I was asked to do was create a corporate Blackbaud project management office, right? So you're not going to learn just project management. And she's going to talk about it in a second. One of the things that you're going to do, like Manesh does, like everybody else in every class I teach does, is they have to get up and talk. And they come along with me and do talk. So if we go to another talk, it might be Lauren, or it might be Anna, or somebody else. But today's day is Crystal's, right? So first, I'm going to let her do a little bit of chatting here about the different hats of project management. Crystal, scaffold.
So not only when you get to go to these little talks with Eddie, he wants you to wear ridiculous things. His first idea was that I personally put on each one of these hats, like on top of one. And then I saw the cape, I was like, I'll just wear the cape. It works fine for me. So, you guys are project coordinators, right?
Project coordinators, project managers.
So you guys know that you have to wear many different hats as a project manager. You're their friend, you're their enemy at times, you have to be a teammate, many different things you have to do. You're supposed to talk about this stuff. Well, obviously, he's making me improvise here because I was going to flip the slide to where I was supposed to be, but I knew this one was next. So I'll go ahead and do this for you. So, project management is 60% personality, as you can see here, charisma, empathy, just so you can put yourself in your client's shoes, be able to relate to them. You have to be a good listener. You won't know what problem you're solving if you're not listening to them. It may be on paper that they're getting this product. Well, if you're listening, maybe you see that they need to be upgraded to also this product as well. So you need to be able to listen, have leadership, not only with the client to lead them down the path to get to where they're supposed to be, but also with your project team that you're working with, and also within your team as well.
That's interesting to talk about that because Crystal just came off the web redesign, right? The rebranding of the website. So when we picked up that project, we were 7 months into the project, and it was not going to finish. There was no way we could make the end line. So we were called up to Mark Shadon's office, and we were given very strict orders, right? By the end of the year, it's got to be whatever you do. So one of the problems, Crystal actually got this project, one of the problems is, and I want you to think about this in your own context, okay, of customers that you deal with. We wanted to put this in, but the user community wanted to keep on changing it. And the problem is, they didn't understand the difference between a phased approach of getting something done and then continuing with the next phase and trying to fix it so it's perfect, right? You're never going to fix it for it to be perfect. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, okay? What you're better off doing is getting the 80% done, get that done in phase 1 and deal with the 20% in phase 2, okay? So that's where Crystal had to take control. And let me tell you something. You don't think it's intimidating? What happens if you got pulled up in front of Mark Chardon? You had to stand there and explain to him, Mark, you're wrong. This is why. It's not that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're doing the wrong thing. But if we did this, it will work. Right? But do you have the confidence to do that? Do you, as an individual, have the leadership skills and the confidence to stand up in front of executives and say, you know, I understand what you're saying. Let me try and give you a different perspective on this. You shouldn't be rude, right? But there's a way of doing it, isn't there?